Welcome everyone to this solemn occasion as we commemorate the passing of Allan O'Connell, referee, performance reviewer and family man. We have assembled a series of speakers who will be paying tribute, each touching on an aspect of how their lives were influenced by Allan. We'll begin with a short prayer.
Dear fellow referee, once again we are joined together in remembering each other in this time of absence, especially today when we commemorate the life and contribution of the dearly departed Allan O'Connell. Since he joined our organization, the Western Province Rugby Referees, he contributed immensely towards its service and the standard of refereeing. He understood quite clearly that people could only grow in a stable and a healthy environment. In the words of Proverbs 24, verse 3 and 4, we hear, "With wisdom a house is built. With understanding it is established. With knowledge its rooms are filled with every kind of riches, both pleasant and precious." And with his very strong attributes and his special gifts, he really contributed in filling our home with riches, so that we could function in a place which was pleasant and happy. In the words of Jesus in Matthew chapter 6, verse 21, we understand now that our hearts will always be where our riches are. In the case of Allan, it was not about himself. He invested his time and special talents in the lives of other people in the community of referees. In the words of a man of wisdom, we hear that kindness in words creates confidence. Kindness in thinking creates profoundness. Kindness in giving creates love. Kindness in actions creates happiness. May this special happiness and love, profoundness and confidence, which is so important for us as referees and people, may it linger long in our midst because of Allan. And may his family be encouraged by the fact that he benefited us by filling our home, as we surely believe he filled his own home. Rest in peace, Allan. Hamba kakushle umslikas. Ons eer jou nagedagtenis, meneer, in die naam van die Vader, die Seun en die Heilige Gees. Amen.
Allan was an active referee for 28 years, doing duty both in Western Province and Durban. After hanging up his whistle, he went into the administrative side and served on the Durban Referees Sub-Society, ultimately going on to be the chairman for 5 years. During that time, he also served as vice president on the KwaZulu-Natal Rugby Referees Society and took over the reins as president when the incumbent resigned. It was in Durban where Allan ignited his passion for performance reviewing. After some time focusing on the Durban contingent, he started to take an interest in the other KZN sub-unions, nurturing his craft under the watchful eyes of Richard Nash, Paul Ackerman and Francie Miller. Under their expert guidance, Allan was promoted to do performance reviews at national level, a post he held for 8 years. Returning to Cape Town in 2014, he made an immediate contribution to the performance reviewing portfolio. He was always ready and willing to help anybody who needed assistance. His meticulous way of reviewing referees' performances, even taking his video recorder to record the matches and then reviewing them afterwards, shows the respect Allan had for his craft and how he respected the efforts of the referees. Following the departure of Arthur Southgate from the Tableview and Mamre region, Allan stepped in to help, once again illustrating his absolute commitment to helping referees in the pursuit of their own quest for excellence. He stayed head of the region until his departure for Southwestern Districts in April 2020, where he had the goal of continuing his performance reviewing duties. Here are the thoughts on Allan's role in the Tableview and Mamre region.
Mr. Allan O'Connell was a great person who added so much to every life he touched. I was fortunate to know him for the last 3 years and he played a massive role in my journey as a referee. The first time I met Mr. O'Connell was at the Tableview weekly referee meeting. That's before I was a member of the Western Province Referee Society. I knew him as a scholar, dedicated and hard-working person. I can still remember few days before I did the level 1 referee course in May 2017. I had difficulties with doing the online exams to get my certificates to send to Joey and Morney in order to do the course. He called me to check up and I told him about my situation. The same day he drove from Langa from one of his retail stores to Mamre to help me complete my online exams. That's the supportive type of person Mr. O'Connell was. My first school game as a beginner referee, he was there. Second game, he was there. Third, he was there. And I can go on to weekdays refereeing at Tableview High School, rushing from there with him to Parklands College to do games there as well. Sitting in the sun, assessing and video recording me just for me to get game time and to improve. Driving to Mamre on weekdays to go through my games that he recorded, or meeting up during the week at Mug and Bean at Bayside, scoring a milkshake from him and having discussions about the games he recorded. He's been at our guys from Tableview school games almost every Saturday morning, giving us feedbacks and reports without sending it to the union, just for us to work on things we can improve on to get better. That is the kind of things he did for me and the guys from Tableview. We're thankful for everything, Mr. O'Connell. We will miss you. May your soul rest in peace. Thank you.
It was one of the most unexpected messages that I've received in the last year, to hear that Allan has passed. A man truly taken before his time. Allan was to many of us a mentor, a coach, and a great friend. Not only did Allan have absolutely great taste by supporting the Sharks, but he undoubtedly had a passion for our beautiful game, and especially the refereeing side. With amazing knowledge of the game and the laws, he truly kept us as Table Bay referees at the top of our game. It is with a sad heart that the Table Bay referees say goodbye to a great man. God took one of his special ones. He was definitely a refereeing father and to many of us, and the cool uncle we never had. But when it came to the game, he was always professional and to the point. Like David wrote in Psalm 73, verse 26, "My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." Rest in peace, our friend Allan.
I just want to thank and praise God for giving me the opportunity to meet Allan. Allan came to us into our region in 2015 as an assessor. He was working with Arthur Southgate. Arthur Southgate left us due to some circumstances and Allan took over. Allan, what can I say about Allan? Allan was that guy who always motivates you. He's giving his advice. Allan is a well outspoken person. He was honest as a person to a referee, giving you his advice. Yeah, he was that mentor will go out of his way just to help a referee. Every Saturday he was on the field to assess referees. At the time I was thinking, Allan he's got his own business, but his love for the game was there, just to help the referees. And for every referee, not just for our society, but for every referee in our Western Province Referee Society, his willingness was there to guide the referee. He was there for help, for advice, everything. He was there. And Allan, for me as a person, Allan was one of those guys who was there for me when I was in Division 2. To go from Division 2 to Division 1 it's not easy. And Allan came to me every Monday, Wednesday. Allan was there in Mamre. I live in Mamre. Allan was there for me. We met every Monday to Wednesday in a restaurant there by us, and we drink coffee. We go through some videos, go through some old assessments from me. And there was one time that lady came to us in the restaurant. Listen, I think I must get a VIP section for you two guys, because you are every Monday and Wednesday. And so I said to ask Allan. I think Allan was one of those guys who likes old buildings. Allan, that's why he came to Mamre every day, every Monday and Tuesday, just to be there. His quietness there in Mamre. And all I want to say to Allan is, he was that good mentor. He was always there for me when I was needed him. I did not have my own transport. Allan was always there. Just say, pick up your phone, call me. I will do my utmost best. Just name a place where we can meet. I will be there. And Allan was there. And yeah, for me, Allan was that mentor. Not only that he has been a fantastic mentor to me, but he has taught me how to mentor other people as well. Allan's memory, Allan's life memory, what I will always stay by me. It's almost like he's on a ship on the sea. He's sailing, but he will never ever find his destination. I'm gonna end off with wat our Afrikaans always said, 'n groot boom het geval. Stil manne, hier gaan 'n groot meneer verby. Thank you.
Benteron shares some moments about Allan O'Connell.
I've met Allan O'Connell several years ago at National Schools Weeks over Easter festivals, and as from day one I realized that this is a man who has the passion for assessing, the passion to evaluate, promote and develop the talent of our referees. Allan also assists me quite a few times to assess the junior referees before they went over to the senior system and to grade them in a league. I want to thank Allan's family for allowing him to live his life. I want to thank him for what he did for our referees through the years. May you rest in peace, Allan.
Allan was renowned for his work ethic and contribution to performance reviewing. Allan Becker and Rani Bourbon Leftly gives us some insight.
It was with great sadness when we heard about Allan O'Connell's passing from our chairman. Allan joined us in 2014 as a match reviewer from Natal. He had made his mark within the first couple of months. Referees enjoy his way of assessing, and his feedback was always to improve the referee. Later on, he joined us in setting up the yearly exams of Western Province referees, which he enjoys immensely. He always brought a bread spread from home. And we also had a nice breakfast before starting up the exam. And all the arguments and jokes around the setting up the exams. We really will miss him. Even this year, when Allan moved to SWD last year in April, we picked up the phone in December and gave him a call while we were all sitting here and having a chat with him regarding certain aspects of the law. So he will always be part of that committee. And we surely miss him setting up the next one in 2021. Our sincere condolences to the O'Connell family with the sudden passing of Allan. We hope he'll keep his guiding hand over us while we're writing reports on the referees, because that is the thing he loved the most. Allan, rest in peace, my friend. We will miss you dearly.
Allan was a very down-to-earth, friendly, communicative person, and a rugby guy to his fingertips, and liked to be friendly with everyone. There was no airs and graces about him. Didn't matter who you were, what you were. He was a rugby person, and he regarded everybody as a rugby person, and he wanted to be friendly with everyone and to pass on his knowledge, whatever he knew, to anyone who was interested. Allan was a South African Rugby Referee Society assessor, performance reviewer, evaluator, call it whatever title you want. And immediately we roped him into the assessing committee here at Western Province. So immediately he started imparting his knowledge in terms of assessing what he knew from SA Rugby with Andre Watson, because he was on his panel, here to our reviewers. And he also took it upon himself. He had his own recording system where he would record referees and do DVDs on referees, and asked whether, over and above his Saturday afternoon appointments that Ronnie gave him, that he could evaluate DVDs during the week. And over and above that, he also got involved in the table view region when Arthur Southgate unfortunately took ill. He was a member there, and then he took over the running of that region and expanded it towards Mummery. He also took part in evaluating referees on a Saturday morning at Tableview High School and Milnerton High School, and recorded it again through his own equipment. And he transported referees wherever within that region to matches where they never had their transport. Over and above that, he also wanted to get involved. He approached me at an annual general meeting. It was still under the tenureship of Dan de Villiers. He wanted to know, and I can still see him doing it. He said, "Allan, I know anything about this Western Province Rugby Referees examination that the referees write every year?" So he said, "Because if you do, you might be able to tell me. If you don't, I'm sure you might be able to put me in the direction who I can contact, because I want to, if it's at all possible, to get involved." I said, "You don't have to look any further. You're communicating with him right now." So he looked at me, he said, "I knew I came to the right person." I said, "Don't go away after the AGM. You will be roped in immediately. We're going to do it in 6 weeks' time at Ronnie's farm." And that's how Allan also got involved in our examinations committee. And he had all the various clippings that he was interested in international matches and provincial matches that he undertook to record himself. And I told him he must build this up during the year, so that when we met at Ronnie's farm on a particular Saturday towards the end of November each calendar year, we would set the examination, and then some of these clippings that he would have I would draw it up into essay questions, which our referees hate, which Johan Lawrence hates. But nevertheless, we drew them up, and he played an integral part together with Don Perry in drawing up this referee's examination and Ronnie. And he did that for 3 or 4 years before last year he had to relocate in the middle. Now, in other words, a year ago, he had to relocate to Plettenberg Bay, as I said, started off by saying because of economic reasons, and his family, where they bought the franchise of Super Quick Tires in Plettenberg Bay. So what I'm trying to illustrate, he's a rugby person to his fingertips. He has had a tremendous amount of knowledge. A rugby person through and through, and he just wanted to share it and impart it, communicate it to everybody concerned who was interested in receiving it from him. And I was on the same level as him, and I could relate to it because he came from the same background as me in relation to his knowledge of rugby. He was a down-to-earth, approachable, friendly, lovable rugby person who was always willing to give his time to referees and impart his knowledge to referees, and he had a tremendous smile and laughter, which will be thoroughly missed in the rugby refereeing community here in the Western Province.
All organizations rely on members that go beyond the call of duty to improve the lot of others. Chairperson Joey Klaas-Salmans reflects on the contribution made by Allan.
My letter to Allan. Dear Allan, it has been difficult for me to comprehend and to accept the fact that you are no longer with us. I reflect on the times that I was fortunate enough to be in your presence and pick your brain on rugby refereeing matters. It was back in 2006 and 2007 that I had my first referee appointment in KZN, and I had to travel to Newcastle to referee the KZN amateurs versus the Lions amateurs. Never been in Durban prior to that appointment. I was obviously very stressed because I had to drive from Durban to Newcastle and back. Plus, I was informed that I had to pick up the performance reviewer in Pietermaritzburg. That performance reviewer being you. But from the moment that you got into the car, I never felt that you were actually in there to go and review my match. It felt like I just met a new friend. Obviously, as referees and performance reviewers, we had differences of opinion on my performance, but the manner in which you shared your concerns made me relax and hear you out. Fast forward a couple of years, and I hear from Ronnie Bourbon-Lefley that you are joining the Western Province Referee Society. I was elated, as I knew what wealth of knowledge you were bringing to the PR department in our society. You did not let me down. You were a ball of energy and always just wanted to do the best for the referees and the society. Even when it came to challenging the lawmakers, you did that for the sake of integrity of the game and the men and women that serves it. I was so honored to spend multiple hours with you at the PAL Gym Under 16 tournament, where we evaluated referees. Even when we saw the poorest of a poor performance, you would always highlight the referee's positives. That referee would also never really know how below par they were, because you had the skill to put color to a dull painting. When you told me you wanted to become a coach, I was excited because I knew that it could only broaden your knowledge from a coaching aspect, and that the coaching would ultimately make you an even better performance reviewer. Allan, your family must have sacrificed a lot to support your dream in the refereeing world. My heart goes out to them in this time of sadness, knowing that you're not there anymore. I also want to thank them for the sacrifices that they made to keep you on top of your game in the rugby refereeing world. Thank you for spending your last 5 years with the Western Province Referee Society and enriching many of our members with your knowledge. It is especially the Table View Mamre team that I think of today, as I know they all cherished you. You catered for their holistic development and went beyond the call of duty to support some of them. I want to thank you on behalf of them for all that you did and for putting their needs ahead of your own. We will never ever forget that. I'm sure that from this moment on, they will, wherever they go and in whatever field they go to perform, do it in your honor. Your passing left a hole in the rugby refereeing fraternity. Speakers before me have paid homage to you, and all I want to add is that you were a true gentleman of the game. I pray that your family will find peace in knowing that there were many others except for them who cared for you. We really cared for you, Allan. You joined some of the big names in the Angel Referee Society. May your soul rest in peace with all of them, and please look down on us and guide us as we try to be the best versions of ourselves. Rest in power, your friend, your colleague, your chairman, Joey Gloucester Salmons.
That brings us to the end of this memorial service. A special thank you to those who spoke today and the many others who sent their own messages. Once again, our condolences to Allan's family.